it's that little thing that, we say a lot. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, and I bet a lot of your viewers are in that sort of category. Yeah. And so to me, what I call spiritual for myself, and I can only say what it is for myself, not for you, it is my commitment to know that it's my responsibility to do what I do and to have the effect that I have. And even if I accidentally have an adverse effect, some stuff it's like, well, I'm sorry you took it that way. I didn't mean it that way. I meant this. Are you okay? Do you understand that now? But, it's really that you know better. It's the thing that this is why I tie it into my acting, because those guts. And as I always say, don't be thinking when you're trying to act or when you're trying to play basketball or you're trying to do whatever. If you're going to be great, you better take all the time to do the due diligence and learn the technique and work it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, so that when you go play basketball, you just go have fun playing basketball, but you play basketball way better than you used to play basketball while you're having fun playing basketball. That's what learning acting is about. It's not to make it look like you know how to act, because that means you're doing bad acting. I need to get lost in it and forget that you're acting and feel like you're really that person, and I get lost in it with you. And in order to go there, to me, acting has always felt very spiritual. When I meditate or I pray or I empath anything, I kind of feel like, it's almost like when you, if you're disassociated, if you're disassociated, you kind of lift out of your body, and it's like, I can talk and answer, but you're not having an effect on me because I'm scared or I don't like it or I'm bored. We all do that at some point, and some people a lot. But that is like, I go up here and I go into this room where I shut the door. To me, what I do is I go up here not so I can get away, so I can see everything better. And I go onto the balcony and I'm like, whoa, now I have a better idea of what's really going on. And so that's where I go when I coach, when I act, when I create, when I write, when I do anything. It's a place where you go that's very similar to where you go when you're trying to hear God in your heart, or you want to meditate, or you want to just have a peaceful moment to try to get your head together out in nature and just, be yourself. Because, my feeling about a lot of stuff is you really don't need labels. So if you are a very proud Christian and you are really doing that, I am so happy for you. And sometimes my real strong Christian friends will go, but you have to come to church with me. And I go like, okay, I haven't been to church for a long time since Reverend Minga, when I was young, yelled at my mother because she put some woman who was dying in the hospital's name in the plate for you to go visit, but she wasn't a member of our church. So you said, what? Well, that kind of turned me off from going into your church anymore. But I do go to church sometimes. I visit. I'll go to synagogue. My last husband was Jewish. And our conversation about religion was we both like to eat good food. Okay, let's get married. And so, but I really respect anyone who has community and tries to have community and does due diligence to try to do anything in the world to be better. So yes, I'll go to your church, and you have me. This happened to be in one of those really big mega churches, and a lot of nice people. Boy, they had a lot of stuff going on. It was wonderful. And at the very end, he said, and if you don't get baptized by me, you're going to hell. And I went, that's where you lose me. That's where you lose me, dude, because I don't think that's true. I think if some little kid that never heard of Jesus before is doing everything God told him to do in his heart, he's not going to hell, and you cannot convince me of that. So, but that's my own personal feeling. So I just always feel like there's many ways up the mountain. I've studied a lot of different religions. It appears to me that almost all of them has the golden rule. And if you can just do that, you are doing pretty good. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That is a pretty good way to go through life. So that's just my basics. It's like you have to pay attention to your guts. You don't get to just go here. You don't get to just go here. Well, it feels like, well, they told me. I read this stuff that I would be okay if I did this. This is telling you that's not right. But everyone else is doing it, so it must be. No, I'm sorry. You have responsibility to you, to the way you feel going back to the deathbed. on your deathbed, are you going to remember how many people you were mean to? Are you going to remember how many people that you turned away from when they needed you? Are you going to remember that? It's the things we didn't do that usually haunt us, not the stuff you did. And so that stuff, but you have to find it for yourself. I can't tell you what it is. Reese can't tell you what it is. It's just any way you can get there. And I literally have gone to the sides of mountains, literally, because I was telling Reese before, I was having an argument with my last husband one day, and I was so mad at him. I said, I hate you. And I did. And I had never felt hate in my life. And it felt so horrible. It felt like acid inside of my body. And I literally went out in the backyard. We had all these big palm trees and everything. I went out there and I knelt under a palm tree. I fell on my knees and I said, God, I will do anything. I can never feel this feeling. I have to find out how I got here. And I spent maybe 3 years going to the sides of mountains and doing a whole spiritual journey about me, not him. He didn't make me hate him. That's his problem. I can't make him not do what he wanted to do. I have no control over that. But I have control over what I did and what I felt like. And that is something I can do something about. And so that's kind of my philosophy. It's like, I might get mad at you, or I may not like what you're doing to me, or blah, blah, blah. But when I really look at it, I have to go like, and sometimes I will just stop. Now, this is a thing I do. I learned to do with my last husband because he did make me mad a lot. And he had good points too, but I did divorce him. Anywho, but I also gave the eulogy at his funeral when he died. And I started the eulogy by saying, if you are here at this service today, you loved him and you hated him. And that's life, baby. Okay? And so I just feel like you have to decide to be accountable to your feelings. So I was yelling at him one day. And one thing I do, and these are a couple of just little tricks. I know this isn't what you're talking about, but if you're feeling like someone's attacking you, so you feel, or like one thing I do is I'll picture a little plastic bubble around me, and all of your attack just bounces off and turns into fairy dust or love. It doesn't go back to you. It turns into fairy dust. Or my favorite one, I developed this one when I was living with that husband who was really, he was just one of those guys. He was an anger guy, and he was like and he's bipolar. And I would picture him like he was on TV, and I would just watch him. And I would look at him. And therefore, I'm not attached to whatever emotional thing he's doing to me. And I can see what's really going on. And like one time I came home from one of my journeys that I went to the mountains with. And I came back, and it's way easy to be spiritual on the side of a mountain. But standing in line at the grocery store, So I had just gotten off of my flight, and I was all in spiritual enlightenment. And my husband, who is the guy who made me the angriest of anyone in the entire world, but he always came and picked me up at the airport, and I came home and he had fixed me 2 meals. One was my favorite meal that he always made for me, and the other one was a new meal. So he made the backup, the one that I really loved, in case I didn't like the new meal. And I'm like, that is so sweet. And I'm opening up and I'm going like, where's the 2 pounds of butters that we had in the freezer? And he goes, well, I used it. Okay, I'm still going to eat it. All right. Okay, so I'm tasting it. And he's sitting there like, so is it good? And I said, yes, it's wonderful. It's really good. Thank you. It's so good. That was so sweet of you. Don't you want to have some? And he's like, but what does it taste like? I'm like, well, it tastes like, I don't know, I can taste the butter for sure. And it tastes all this stuff. It's really good. I mean, the texture. But do you like it? Yes, I do like it. When you taste, this goes on for about 25 minutes. Do you like it? 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 And I'm like, okay, this is one of your setups where you do something really nice. And then it's like this torture thing where it's like, look, I brought you ice cream. And I'm going like, well, I really didn't want ice cream, but he said he's going to go get ice cream. So he says, what kind do you want? And I said, chocolate. So he brings me cherry vanilla. And you're like, oh, they were out of chocolate. And no, because I was looking, I wanted chocolate ice cream. Then I was okay because he made me go like, yeah. He goes, no, cherry vanilla is just so much better. So he was one of those guys where it's like he does something and then you're like really mad at him because he did it. And you're supposed to be saying thank you, but you punch him instead. So he's asking this question over and over. Because I had just come from the side of a mountain, I Now I do this all the time. I listen to his question. So it's kind of like I put him on TV screen, so I'm not being activated by him. And I'm watching him, and he is asking me the same question. What does it taste like? And I have told him 100 times all the different flavors. I told him, I said, I must not be answering his question. Because you get real logical when you just put him on TV and you go like, what is really actually going on here? I'm just really observing deeply. So I said, let me really taste it. Because I obviously am not giving him the answer that he wants, or he would be happy with it. So I tasted it with my soul. And when I tasted it, by that I mean like every part of me, not just like, oh, it tastes like food. I went deeper, like it tastes like an acting exercise I would give you, like, what does the air smell like? Love. It's perfectly acceptable. It doesn't have to smell like perfume. So I'm tasting this. And now, like an acting exercise, I must give you the truth. And I said, to tell you the truth, Craig, it doesn't taste like anything. It has no taste. But this is also how you do acting too. I followed it. Mm-hmm. Where with my senses, with all my senses, where is that really going? I'm not making it go somewhere, I'm following it. And when I followed to what it really tasted like, I had my answer. And I said, it doesn't taste like food at all. It tastes like love. And that was the one true hug I ever received in that entire marriage. And he broke down crying. Because I had not been able to see the way he showed me love. Because sometimes he showed me love by yelling at me. Why are you yelling at me and treating me like I'm a child? What? And then I would look at him on TV. Are you scared of me? Yes. Well, it feels like you hate me. Could you tell me why? He says, I'm afraid you're going to chop your finger off. And I don't want you to. And I said, but if you yell at me, it makes me feel like you hate me. Could you just say, honey? And I would say, I'm 40 years old at this time, and I have chopped all the onions. I've never chopped my finger off. You've got to trust me on this one. People do not love you the way you want them to a lot. It is your responsibility to never give up trying to see it, though. That's it. You know?
Yeah, and I do think that is the lesson that you leave, at least left me with. I don't want to presume any of your other students' experiences, but that when we act, we must step into love for the character, right? The deep, deep love for who we're trying to portray, love for ourselves and our truth, but then love for humanity and the truth of the human story, right? And that's it.
It's a generosity of spirit that you know, like if you're doing an acting scene, I want to make the other person look good. I'm listening to you. I'm not listening to myself talk, because then I am going to be acting and saying my lines in a clever way. But if I'm actually watching you, it will look like I'm doing nothing, but 1,000 little nuances will happen. Humanness. It is really all about that generosity of spirit. And, you know, in this day and age, it is so hard to keep that up sometimes, because you feel like every man for yourself sometimes. You're like, I've got to protect myself. I can't trust these other people. But if you lose trust for everybody and everything, and you can only trust you or your little bubble, then your world is awfully small, and you're not going to have that much fun. You'll take all the danger out, but even at your young age, you've already found that the danger's the stuff that, you know, gives you the thrill. You know, if you don't want to ride the roller coaster, it's okay. But if you just walk everywhere and you never like try to fly or swim.
There's so many little Miss Hartt-isms that I use all the time, and one of them that pertains to this is courage isn't feeling no fear. It's looking fear in the face and opening your arms and saying, bring it on. Mm-hmm. And that is what I think loving feels like, right? It is looking fear in the face, the potential to be hurt, the deepest that you possibly could be, but still saying, bring it on.
If you have pain, most people will want to go away with it, and some go from it. Now, sometimes you need to, like if a child has had a very big trauma, it's important you don't try to make them address it right then, okay? So there's, you know, and I'm not a psychologist either. I'm just a friggin' acting coach who also does life coaching and, you know, and goes to the sides of mountains sometimes. But if you are having pain, for myself, this is only for myself, I have found that if I am afraid of that pain, and this goes with what you're saying, if I have pain, if there's something that hurts me, not just something I'm scared to do, but something that I don't want to address, I want to shove it down. If you shove it down, what's going to happen is going to be like cement. And 40 years from now, you're going to go to a therapist and it's going to take them forever to try and figure out why you became such a hostile, mean old person. You want to address your pain as you feel it, because then it's a lot less than when you are doing it like 30 years later. So you want to hold your pain to your heart and just say, bring it on. I'm not afraid of you. You would be so surprised at how much your pain is instantly gone just because you said, I'll deal with it. What are you going to do to me? Well, they've got nothing. Your pain has nothing to do for you. And I have a little saying. This is actually a really important story to me. I probably have told you this story, Reese, but I have a saying that I say to my students a lot, that the depth of your pain measures the depth of your compassion.